we have most of our events that are going into their 6th year, right? We have our 5K, our Bruce StacheStrong beer collab, our New York City event and marathon, all events that we're comfortable with. And hosting a golf tournament is kind of that next step as an organization where we can bring in additional funds, larger sponsors, and kind of expand our reach as an organization and ultimately provide, a pretty unique experience with a pre-party, golf event and post-party, both to celebrate the success of StacheStrong, to celebrate all those currently fighting and remember those we've lost. And again, what it always comes down to for these events is being able to, at the end of the day, continue to cut checks to top institutions, to top researchers, to top clinicians who are advancing our field in the brain cancer research space.
All right, Colin. Well, we are back. I appreciate you being here. We had a first go around with the podcast promoting StacheStrong a couple of years ago now. Jackie was in support, but reluctantly, of me growing out the stash. She always gives me some grief about that when I grow it out, but hey, it's for a good cause. So she was down with it. And so I just want to first say thank you for being here today to share about some exciting things, and also for having me a part of the board. It's been an awesome journey. I really appreciate being able to contribute in my own way. And before we get into it, just want to welcome you on and say thank you.
Thanks for having me. And it's always great to have active and important board members like yourself. So appreciate the continued spotlight on StacheStrong and all that we're continuing to accomplish in the brain cancer research space.
Yeah, for sure. And for those that didn't catch that episode, go check it out. We'll put all the information in this episode somewhere in the notes, wherever you're watching or listening. But we talked about how we met, how Gigi and you and I met with Jackie back in, was it 2018, a Biting Cancer Summit out in DC, and how it's evolved to where we are today. And with that being said, let's talk about the first item on the agenda today, and like the growth of StacheStrong, this being 5 years. And just the significant growth, and I would just love for you to just kind of fill us in on where we are today.
Yeah, it's incredible to hear that, right? I mean, 5 years, if you take a step back in the GBM space, is something that 5% of people see, which means 95% of those diagnosed with this disease never reach 5 years. And as an organization now that started after my brother's unfortunate diagnosis, I wish he was still with us at the 5-year mark, but to take a step back and see that in 5 years, we're approaching 3 million raised for research, which again, I remember our first 10,000 and kind of the look on his face of, wow, we have something here. And we've also funded 25 separate grants, right? That's discovery grants, fellowships, phase 0 clinical trials, across the really continuum of research in this space. And it all happens because of our events, because of our supporters, because we're creating an authentic experience and support network where with StacheStrong, our family, myself as president and co-founder, I've been in those shoes, right? As a caretaker, as a brother, as a loved one, from day one until passing and grief. And then, years at this point, 3 years past since his passing. So seeing StacheStrong reach that 5-year mark is super important for what we're doing and the hope we're providing. But I also think it has that double meaning, knowing that so many, unfortunately, way too many, never reach it to 5 years with a diagnosis of glioblastoma.
I mean, and that's ultimately what led me to doing the work I do today, promoting things like brain health, was my own experiences that many of the listeners and viewers understand. And that's what ultimately connected us on the level that we are here, where we are today. So speaking of connections, we also have the upcoming tournament for golf in Jupiter, Florida, not too long from now, which I got the golf where are we?
Rapping.
Polo. And since I've left BMX about a little over 3 years now, actually January is 3 years total since I've ridden my bike. Golf has been it's played such a significant role in my life in terms of giving me something to work towards outside of everything, an outlet for my energy, a focus, a drive. And then now being able to connect brain health and golf all in one place, which for me, as we were sharing before we started recording, I see it as like 99.9% of the time, I have no risk of breaking a leg or having a head injury. So I love it. And I can just put all my frustration into the game, which people would say that doesn't make sense. Golf's the most frustrating thing you'll ever do. But I'm really excited to talk about that and to be a part of that. And so, let's just give us some details on that.
Yeah, it's exciting because as we touched on, 5 years as an organization, we have most of our events that are going into their 6th year, right? We have our 5K, our Bruce StacheStrong beer collab, our New York City event and marathon, all events that we're comfortable with, and we have an incredible following behind. But this is kind of that next step as an organization. We have multiple board members, including yourself, that reside in Florida, and hosting a golf tournament is kind of that next step as an organization, where we can bring in additional funds, larger sponsors, different individuals who might not be able to attend other events that are in different states, and kind of expand our reach as an organization, and ultimately provide a pretty unique experience with a pre-party golf event and post-party, both to celebrate the success of StacheStrong, to celebrate all those currently fighting, and remember those we've lost. And again, what it always comes down to for these events is being able to, at the end of the day, continue to cut checks to top institutions, to top researchers, to top clinicians who are advancing our field in the brain cancer research space.
What I've experienced from the game of golf is a lot of people that are in business, that they're out there golfing. That's how they network. I actually have a friend who goes by the golf networker. That's like his thing. He's in sales. He just loves building relationships and doing it through the passion he has for golf. And, like you mentioned, it's about raising funds, which gives us more resources to raise more awareness, to fund more research, to support more people. So the more visibility, the more funds that come in, the more checks you can write to support these different what we call it, initiatives to support the research and just ultimately help more people in need. And so I know there's a very strong background with you and Gij with golf, and not gonna lie, quite jealous that I didn't pick up golf until the last 3 years. But let's just talk a little bit about that and how this actually came full circle with the organization StacheStrong. And I don't know if you heard, my cat Fred is also a fan of golf apparently. But yeah, I know we were talking a little bit before we recorded, and just reminded me of the story, and I think Fred is all about it. So
Fred's in for I think he's in for a whole sponsorship.
But yeah, let's just I guess fill in the listeners, the viewers, just about where golf originated for this passion that also links with StacheStrong.
Yeah, I'll definitely preface it by saying my brother and I are wildly average golfers, but for all the things you said, yeah, for those things you said, always something we enjoyed doing at a younger age, and we went to the same university together, and actually started a scholarship golf tournament 12 years ago now, that was providing scholarships to high achieving School of Business students at the University at Albany. And we started this together. I continued to run it when he left school and graduated for a few years. It's now been going on, as I said, since 2011, continues to provide scholarships for students. And so that part of it has, that's pre-GBM, right? That's two brothers in college, in a group trying to do something different at the time. And, fast forward to my brother's diagnosis, and, he wore the Optune device, backpack, batteries, chargers, the whole situation there. And he wanted to keep normalcy. So we were still golfing. He hit in the bunker, and in no world was GJ getting a free lift. He went in that bunker, placed his device on the ground with a wire directly to his head, took a shot, and moved on. So golf, started as something we did together. Really our first event way before StacheStrong and any of this, just kind of organically did so. And it became a place of normalcy for him throughout his diagnosis, to show others, I don't care what's going on, I can still tee it up, I can still get out there in the sun, have fun, play golf, just like I did before diagnosis. So this event, from a personal perspective, means a lot to me, knowing that, it's something we would have liked to do together as a family, and as a set of brothers beforehand. But knowing that now kind of that interest and background is going to directly fund research is something, that has me over the moon excited for that growth and expansion.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's the Stash Strong way that you just described. And it's cool to see that come full circle and to be able to take that interest and that passion and, that contribution at such a, you said 12 years ago. So at a young age, and then be able to do something with a larger, I'd say, calling to help other people from that. And it's really cool to be able to do that. And, I'm really excited to be a part of it.
He would laugh. We raised, gosh, year one, I think we raised $500. It got to the point where it was like 10, 20,000 in a given year, but we were so excited just to break even. And, our first event, our inaugural invitational is on Monday, May 8th, right? In Jupiter, Florida, at Jonathan's Landing. And we already have over $100,000 of sponsors, right? So I think it speaks to the Stash Strong difference, like you touched on. It speaks on, everything we've accomplished in 5 short years, but it's one of those things as I have calls with our board and with prospective sponsors where I just find myself laughing afterwards, thinking of what GJ would think, knowing that a golf tournament now for Stash Strong is able immediately to raise that much, let alone what we raise over the next 2 months and additional dollars that come in as the event nears.
Yeah, for sure. So with that said, I know there's a couple more opportunities that are still, have some openings. And so if we could just, wrap up with just letting the people know how they can get involved, whether they want to come participate, come out to beautiful Florida, Jupiter, Florida, where I think all the most legendary golfers live, which is really cool. For those I haven't seen, I binge watched the Full Swing documentary on Netflix. I'm on like round 2 already watching it again. But yeah, let us know, I guess, let the people know how they can get involved, whether they want to come participate or they just want to, maybe sponsor a hole or whatever that may be.
Yeah, definitely. All information, we'll link it out of here, is on support.stashstrong.org/golf. But we have several sponsorship options available, all the way from, $25,000 top level down to $2,500. So whether it's an individual hole sponsor, flag sponsor, or one of our master marquee sponsors, we have plenty of availability left for interested companies. Again, we have Dick's Sporting Goods as one of our marquee sponsors, as well as Striker, two companies that we're super excited to have backing us and support. We also have plenty of anonymous support and smaller companies, right? Smaller businesses, both in the local Florida area as well as outside of the area, that are just looking for additional support of Stash Strong through this event. So again, we have a lot of options still left. Happy to discuss or talk about any of those. We also have foursomes, right? We need golfers there to make this happen. We're at about 13 as of recording foursomes, which is great. We're shooting for another 5 to 10 over the next month at this point at minimum. And again, it's a very nice course at Jonathan's Landing. We're excited to have them as our host. Our board and one of our board members, Stacy, has been pivotal in making this happen, as well as another friend who lives in the Jupiter area who's helping drive what we're doing. But again, these events, Stash Strong, all of this does not happen without incredible supporters, sponsors, and donors. And this golf tournament is the perfect example where, with additional support and awareness, we're going to be able to fund major research grants just from this event, let alone the other 6 to 8 events we run throughout the year.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah. Well, I know I will be there. I know once I get this out on my LinkedIn community, they all pretty much love golf. And I don't think I know any pro golfers. So I think, like your description earlier, average golfer, if not beginner golfer. Yeah, I think it all applies because everyone just wants to have fun. Golf, I think, is the most, this is, me after being a professional athlete in BMX, golf is the most difficult thing I've ever done. And I also equally enjoy how much difficulty there is, but also that one shot, that's all it takes. So there's a lot of support for the game of golf. You're outside, you're getting vitamin D, you're networking, you're having a good time, and you're gonna be supporting a great organization with a great cause. And so yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and I appreciate you coming on to share some more about it. And if there's anything else you want to say.
No, I appreciate the spotlight again. Just reach out if you're interested. If someone in your network is interested, the one thing we've learned through Stash Strong is it's not sometimes the first door that opens, it's the second that's able, willing, and excited to support. So feel free to share this within your networks. Again, from your average first-time golfer to the more professional golfer, each of those will be shooting towards a cure, which we're excited about and is ultimately our mission.
Awesome. Well, I love it. Yeah, I'll get anyone connected that's interested. Plus, I'll be having some more chats. But again, thank you so much, Colin. Appreciate your time. Appreciate all that StacheStrong does, and I'm just happy to be a part of it. And looking forward to getting this out there. Or people
Thank
that
you.
it's already out. So
Appreciate it.